FBI officials are confessing that they did not do their due diligence when it came to issuing a gun to Dylann Roof, the man who shot and killed 9 innocent people in Charleston, South Carolina. Now, the FBI Director James Comey did issue a statement about how he was able to obtain a gun through a loophole even though he was facing serious drug charges. Let me give you his statement. Now, the Wall Street Journal reports that the FBI began a background check, but a federal examiner did not obtain a report on a Columbia, South Carolina arrest record from March 1st that showed that he had admitted to using drugs. The drugs he was using included Suboxone, which is something that people use when they're addicted to heroin and they're trying to wean themselves off. That should have disqualified him from buying a firearm, but Mr. Comey described a complicated city and county jurisdictional arrangement in the Columbia area that made it difficult for the FBI examiner to unearth the record. So he says that because the FBI official didn't have all the background of the case, this put his firearm request into a delayed pending status that stretched beyond the 3-day wait period. On April 16th, Mr. Roof bought the gun because the FBI had not made a definitive judgment. So understand that if the FBI does not make a definitive judgment within 3 days, then firearm retailers can go ahead and sell it legally, right? Now, a lot of the larger retailers like Walmart will refuse to sell it, but smaller independent gun stores will do it. Now, James Comey feels terrible about this. He says it rips all of our hearts out. The thought that an error on our part is connected to this guy's purchase of a gun that he used to slaughter these people is very painful for us. So even though we have certain federal laws in place to prevent people from Dylann Roof from getting a gun, obviously there are certain issues with the system that allow people to get their hands on guns when they shouldn't.
Yeah, I'm curious what you guys think. I don't blame the FBI here nearly as much as I blame the 3-day wait period.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
And so, you know, look, it's hard to get everybody's, like he applied for it, I think on Saturday, and then by Monday they had to have the records, and on Monday, April 13th, it was assigned to an FBI official in West Virginia, and he gets the criminal records, but he doesn't get the drug records. Yeah, that's hard. It's hard to get it when, you know, over like 1 working day. That's super hard. So, yeah, I wish they had, and so you want to assign blame to the FBI. I guess I assign a little bit of blame to them, and it's not like I'm shy about assigning blame to the FBI. Yeah, I'm ready to blame them, but I don't think it was mainly on them. It's mainly on this law that says, oh, if you can't figure out if this guy's a dangerous criminal or drug addict or possibly insane or possibly a terrorist in 3 days, we're going to give him the gun anyway.
It's crazy.
That's the problem.
I think it's the fault of the actual gun shop owner that sold it to him, because if there was a hold placed on it, even a temporary one, says there's something amiss with this guy and we don't have the specifics yet, but we're going to get back to you on it. Yeah, and I would think they've opened themselves up for a civic case.
So, Wes, I hear you on that, and as Anna pointed out, some responsible stores don't sell the guns to people who have what they call a pending status, which means something came up, hold on, we're checking on it, right? But by law, they're allowed to. And what are people going to do? People, by their nature, are greedy. He wants to make that buck. He doesn't want him to walk over to the next gun store and get it from there, right?
But if he faces a $100 million lawsuit for doing that, you'll see every other gun store owner suddenly say,
no, but that's exactly probably, look, again, I don't know the specifics of whether it's Walmart or not, but that's probably why the bigger stores like Walmart don't sell it under pending status, because they could face a $100 million lawsuit and they got $100 million to lose. That country bumpkin next door, he doesn't have $100 million.
No, but all of his buddies that also run gun shops don't either. But it's bankruptcy, it's the end of your store.
That's true, but I don't know how much merit a lawsuit like that would have if what they did was legal. What the gun shop owner did was completely legal, right? You are allowed to sell that gun as long as you have passed that 3-day wait period, right? Even if it's in a pending status, it doesn't matter. So by law, the gun owner didn't do anything wrong. That's the craziest part of the story.
So morally, I'm with Wes. If it's pending status, hold on, let's find out, you know, what this guy's about. But legally, obviously, Anna's right. So, I mean, I think the lawsuit would have trouble. But why do we have this stupid law in the first place? Why? Because there is a reason why. Because people are gun nuts. And they look, oh, give me my gun, I need it right away. Well, dude, what if you're a mass murderer like this guy? I don't care, give me the gun, I've got my rights. No, but you don't have your rights if you have a serious criminal record and you're a drug addict and you've got mental issues. Okay, so can I get 4 days to check it out? It's
Can I
so
get a
crazy.
week?
Can I get a week? Can I get a week, man? No, I'm gonna have my gun right now. Like, but if you got a guy like that, then I really need the week.
Yeah.
Right? If someone is like, I need the gun right now, well then that's when I want to wait longer. Okay, why do you need the gun so bad? This guy comes in asking for a gun and he needs it right away. That's the guy you should be careful about.
But could I just be devil's advocate?
Of course.
Okay, you, Cenk, you want this gun now because you just found out there is somebody who's been stalking you who has a gun and they're coming to kill you and they know where you live. Would you like that gun today or would you like that gun tomorrow?
Okay, well, first of all, you know, I'm not a believer. I had somebody break into my house, and I was still happy not to have a gun.
That's
'cause
amazing.
If I had a gun, that situation would have been 1,000 times worse. Okay, maybe I shoot and kill him. I didn't have to. It was fine. The cops came in.
You
And
didn't-
when I open the door with a gun, do the cops shoot me? Right? So
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
right. So I'm glad I didn't have a gun in that situation.
What'd you do? You
Okay.
go over and sweat on him?
I could. I am swarthy. I could have swarthied him up, put the Uygur maneuver on him. But if I really wanted the gun, and I hear you because it just came up, etc. Okay, but let's look at the totality of the circumstances, Wes. Is it more likely that you're going to have a stalker that just pops up and you need the gun within 3 days in a panic? Some of those cases will exist. Or is it more likely that some guy's pissed at somebody and wants that gun right away so they can take action? Now, in this case, he didn't take action right away. It's not like he got the gun and walked into the church.
What if he just found out his 3-year-old's birthday is tomorrow and that kid needs a gun? Dude?
No, that's funny, except it's not because his
Because
dad
it's true,
gave
and
him
it's
the money
happened,
for the
yeah.
gun on his birthday, on his 21st birthday, full well knowing he's got mental issues. They're like, okay, we'll snap him out of it by giving him a gun. Okay, so, you know, I say gun nuts, but like this guy was literally a gun nut, right? And the people who are aiding and abetting him by encouraging that behavior, you think you're being all American and stuff. You're not. It's dangerous. Guns do kill people. They do. That's what they're designed to do. They're designed to kill things.
And they usually kill their owners.
Yes.
More
But
often than other people.
Statistically, can I just I'll make one point about this. Someone smarter than me said this, which is almost everyone, that, you know, they want their guns, they always say they want their guns to protect themselves from the government, right? Because the government's going to come and try to take my rights away, and I want my guns. So that's why we need strong gun rights to protect ourselves from the government who's going to usurp our rights. Well, the only rights that we've been able to hang on to are gun rights. They've gotten rid of all the other rights. You no longer have freedom of anything, right? You don't have freedom of assembly, freedom of speech. You don't have a right to privacy. You've lost all that from the government, and all they care is I still have my gun. Yeah, but the reason why you want that gun is gone. They just want the gun to have the gun.
That's such a great point.
Yeah,
I love that.
So what did you do to protect your rights?
Right, nothing. You didn't go shoot somebody when they took away your Fourth Amendment rights, when they started spying on you and the government. You didn't shoot anybody. You didn't do nothing.
Right, and I don't want you to shoot anybody, right? And as somebody else made the point, we have, I think, about 30,000 murders a year by guns, okay? And the number of people per year that use their guns to defend freedoms is zero. And it's a good thing. I don't want them to think like, let's go get the government and shoot them up. No, don't do that. Luckily, that answer is about zero, whereas people are actually dying day in, day out from guns used to kill regular people.
Has it ever really been a reality or even a significant argument that if you allow Americans to have guns with no laws, they just get to buy as many guns as they want, that they can literally fight the U.S. government with those weapons? Knowing that we have the strongest military in the world, knowing that the majority of the money that we pay in taxes go towards defense, right? I don't understand why they think that having a firearm is going to protect their rights if the government really wanted to trample on our rights, which they have in many different ways, right? We're talking about nukes, we're talking about tanks, we're talking about drones, all of those weapons that they have. You're going to shoot them with your rifle?
Right.
And I think, here together we came up with an interesting point, just surprising. Because, wait a minute, you say you need your gun to protect yourself from the government because that's your right. But the thing is, it's not your right. I mean, if you decided on your own that, okay, I'm going to go kill government officials because they're taking my rights, because whether you legitimately think they took your Fourth Amendment rights or your Eighth Amendment rights, against cruel and unusual punishment, whatever it might be, right? No, you don't have the right to go and shoot a government official. You don't have that right at all. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? That right doesn't exist.
They would point to Clive and Bundy and say that if we didn't have guns there, that was what's kept the government off us, was that we had guns. Wouldn't they say that?
Okay, yeah, but Clive and Bundy and his crew were doing something that was wildly illegal.
Yes.
And they were pointing guns at cops. You're not allowed to do that. That's illegal. If they were black, they would have been bulldozed.
Right.
They would have,
Like in, what was that, in Philly in the 80s when they
dropped a
dropped
bomb
a
on 'em.
bomb
They dropped a
on a
bomb.
house.
Yeah, that's, I
building.
mean, if Clive and Bundy, imagine that it's a group of blacks in South Central who cops come and they all take out their weapons and point it at the cops' heads. What do you think is going to happen? Wes is right. They're going to drop a fucking bomb on them, right? You don't. Clive and Bundy doesn't have that right. The guy in South Central doesn't have that right. You don't have a right to point a gun at a cop or shoot any government official. That's bullshit. That's made up. Okay. And remember, by the way, I mean, if you want to get to the core of the issue, okay. I hate to read for you, but it says in the Second Amendment, it's for a well-regulated militia. Okay. I know you hate that part. I know it. Are you part of a militia? Are you part of a militia? You're not part of a militia, are you? I've gone over this before. There were militias in the North who, by the way, one of them rebelled and George Washington had to go put that militia down. Okay, what happened to their rights? No, George Washington put them down, okay? And then there were militias in the South, and they were mainly slave patrols to make sure the slaves didn't escape. Okay, that's why they needed their guns to kill black people if they try to escape from slavery. Okay, and it says, well-regulated militia. You want to ignore the militia part? It says in the Second Amendment, well-regulated. What part of that can you not fucking read?
The well. The well part.
Apparently so.